Hello again, my name is Nicholas Burns, and for this discussion board, amidst all of the many topics we could choose from, I decided to focus in on the communion controversy, both with Solomon Stoddard in the era before Jonathan Edwards and with Jonathan Edwards proper. One of the interesting things about controversies is there's usually a significant amount of literature that's also produced. This is true of Solomon Stoddard and his view on the open table, that is open to all persons who are of high moral standing and who are not dotards. And then there's, on the opposing view, that of the Mathers, increase in cotton, as well as Timothy Edwards, Solomon Stoddard's son-in-law and Jonathan Edwards' father. So there was a flurry of both sermons and also books, polemical tracts on both sides of the matter. And controversy, it just really seems to stir creativity in writing. This is certainly true of Jonathan Edwards and of his time in reading through Dr. Yeager's article that was provided for us through the course this week in the economics. It was really interesting to see just how much controversy played into the popularity of certain works, and sometimes people would buy it just because it was controversial, which is probably certainly true of our day as well. I think of the new perspective on Paul in our modern times and just how much controversy that stirred, or the great Trinitarian controversy, the eternal subordination controversy that was occurring just 2 years ago, and how much writing came from that. So, specifically to Edwards and the communion controversy, I wanted to bring up 2 points. One was from Jonathan Edwards' own book on the topic, An Humble Inquiry, which was published in 1749. In this book, he draws a sharp distinction between the visible church and the invisible church. That is, those who are upright, moral citizens who may say that they are true believers, but in their own hearts they are not regenerate. And he makes that distinction of the visible church, those who attend the services and those who take communion, and the invisible church, those whom from before all time God foreknew, called, and predestined to be a part of his church, his body, those whom he called to be reconciled to himself. Jonathan Edwards drew a really sharp distinction in this book, and from that he also draws his doctrine of communion. Contrary to Jonathan Edwards is a man named Experience Mayhew, quite the name. So he didn't go so far as to describe the Lord's table as a converting ordinance, a means of evangelism, like Jonathan Edwards' grandfather Solomon Stoddard. While he didn't go that far, he did still understand it to be based upon the principle of affiliation. All who are part of the community, who are upstanding citizens, ought to take part in the Lord's table. And this is just one example of work that was reactionary to Jonathan Edwards and Humble Inquiry, and it's in fact one of the more recent things to be dredged up. There were numerous other works. Again, this is a very shallow treatment of the works of Jonathan Edwards and his contemporaries, but I hope it's been helpful. Thank you.